It's April 7th, 2025, and welcome to episode 92 of the Baby Metal Podcast. We gather in the podcast Discord server now and again to discuss news and thoughts on the past and future projects of Baby Metal. We invite you to join us, whether you're a longtime fan or have only just arrived. I am Paul, and I am joined by Kevin.
Hey, we're still here. I'm still here. Paul's still here. Maggie's still here. I know it's been a while. I'm a little disappointed we didn't make it all the way to a year before we recorded again. I feel like that would have been a pretty good badge of honor to have a year gap. And we could have called it a gap year.
And Maggie.
Yeah, we probably could have done that. Oh well, it is what it is. But we're still here. We're still functioning. We still alive. We got voices.
Yep. So it's been, I don't know, 10 months, something like that.
9-ish.
It is now beginning of April, and last
Maggie's
one was
a mom.
recorded in
Wait,
July.
what?
What?
I mean, maybe it's just like Pokemon or something, but
Is that a Pokemon?
kind of.
I mean, it's been 10 months.
I mean,
A lot could have happened.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
That's true.
That's
I took a swing.
fair. I get it. That is not what happened.
Yes.
Oh.
All right. Yeah. So actually, a whole lot of stuff has happened since, but not that, but a whole lot of stuff has happened since we recorded last, and we're not going to talk about all of it, but we can just kind of review it. Just recently, we went through Fox Day, and so there's new stuff to talk about that's interesting, but at the same time, I mean, there was like the Legend 43 movie, there was the Talk Matsumoto Group song, there was the Baby Metal cassette player and cassettes, and there was a U.S. tour. We went to shows, and
I didn't actually.
oh, really?
I skipped it. Yeah. It was in LA.
Oh yeah, you would have had to travel a bit, and
Yeah, I would have had to either drive 7 hours, fly, and LA sucks. I hate LA.
I'm not to knock it, but I kind of agree on that front. I've been there a couple times. I'm like, other than maybe Disney, but that'd be about it.
See, that's not LA. That's Anaheim.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. It's one of those regional things. I gotcha. Fair enough.
But see, you still have to go to LA to get to Anaheim.
True. That is true. It's like a 45-minute drive by Uber. But anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then there's like, Baby Metal was in a movie, and Baby Metal started their own radio show, which is wild. And then there was the songs that they've been involved in, and there's been the announcements, of course, in the last few months, and then now we're here. So yeah, they've been doing stuff.
Yeah, and so during that US tour that happened, at the end of last year, I went to two of them. I saw AJ Hartley at Charlotte, and Maggie and I were both at the Bethlehem, Pennsylvania one.
Yeah.
And you didn't do an in-person recording.
And we did not.
No, we didn't. We kind of went in and went out.
We've been threatening that for years at this point.
We have, but the thing is we just always seem to kind of miss each other in one way or another. It's either like it's just two of you, or it's just me and Kevin, or it's me and Paul. Like it's never us three together. Someday.
True.
Right.
Someday. But the Bethlehem show was kind of fun, minus the fact that I made a little... I'm still grumpy about this, but I made
I know. I was going to just bring that up too.
I made a custom Baby Metal bear with their last tour's outfits, and I don't know if people have been seeing the videos and stuff, but people have been like tossing bears and stuffies and all sorts of things on the stage, and the girls have been just like living it up. Well, apparently the one show that they were like, oh yeah, you're not allowed to do that, was the show that I went to. And like everyone, the round awes that I got when they announced that right at the entrance, I was so disappointed. And so Yeah, I have a nice little custom baby metal bear sitting in my living. Well, actually, she's not in my living room right at the moment, but it made me so sad because I don't do much creating stuff, like costumes, things anymore. But I wanted to at least do that. But yeah, so that was crazy. That the one thing that it's just they have so many stuffies. So I'm just curious if they're going to put any rules in place for the next tour of, like, you know, how they used to be like, no flags, no this, no that, no stuffed animals.
Right. Yeah, they actually took the thing away from you. I was worried that you wouldn't get it back, but eventually they did. Yeah,
they had a box sitting behind a table that they had someone stationed at and was like, oh, hey, what did you have taken from you? Do you want this back? You know, so they were at least decent in that front, but it was still very depressing because I put a lot of work into it.
Yeah.
What an interesting time for this band. Like when we started talking about this professionally, like the idea of getting a wave wasn't even realistic on stage, right?
Yeah.
And now people are throwing bears, giving hearts and all that stuff. Like what growth and expansion of their life performance.
I was pretty much like Moa and I were kind of back and forthing it during the show. It was because I had VIP, but we were back and forthing it during the show, and it was fun. And there was one point where I turned around because one of my friends was like, oh, you should take a picture with them. I'm like, yeah, that doesn't happen necessarily. But I turned around and like did the face camera thing to where it looks like my face is up against there. And I tried to take a picture while she was moving, and I turned back around and she saw me, and I was like mimicked that I was sorry. And she was just kind of just like, it's okay. So that was kind of cool. She's like, don't worry.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So no, and then we were kind of making faces at each other the rest of the time. And it also helped that one of the Japanese baby metal fans, I cannot think of which one. Oh, brain. But anyway, he was there too, and of course, he always dances along with the songs. So it was a good time.
Amazing.
Yeah, no, I'm glad I went. I went to so I went to Charlotte, and I was there I was VIP, and then at Bethlehem I was not. So you know, we were immediately sort of split up.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We did get to hang around at the casino a little bit. That was interesting.
Is that a casino?
Yeah, it was connected to a casino. I mean, that's what it is. It was a casino and convention center with a music hall attached to it and a hotel, which is like huge. And so, yeah, we both got there kind of early-ish. And so we were like, well, what are we going to do? And so there was like a little mini shopping mall and casino attached. So we're like, you know, let's hang out there. So we did. I've never been in.
You know, I totally forgot about that.
I've never been inside a casino
I bought
before.
an umbrella.
Yeah, because it was a crappy day. It was a really crappy day. But thankfully, we were all able to line up inside, so that was nice.
Yeah, it was basically like the line was inside a mall, and there was like a hatchet throwing place.
Oh, the axe throwing place, yeah.
Inside, yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's like when I saw him in Vegas at the Palms Casino. There's a theater in the Palms Casino. That was an interesting queuing experience. It was nice being inside. They wouldn't let us stand near the theater, so we had to sit in the food court. And about an hour into the day, I was completely over the cigarette smoke and slot machine casino noises.
I can see that would be annoying after a while.
That was pretty awful.
Yeah.
But better than it being 100 degrees outside and in the sun, I suppose.
True. I don't know if I ever got your real opinion on it. What did you think about Scene Queen?
I thought it was pretty good, actually. I went in hesitant, but the stage show was good. The songs were good. You know, I mean, it was amusing. You know,
she is quite amusing.
I had seen it already in Charlotte before I got to Bethlehem, but
true.
You know, so many of the jokes were the same. Though I think I forget which one it was. Like the guitar player's birthday was on one of those 2 days.
Oh,
So
I don't.
that was one thing that was a little bit different.
It might have been the Charlotte one.
Charlotte one. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I thought it was going to be worse than it turned out to be. I was relatively impressed. I haven't gone back to listen to any of her/their music since, but nevertheless, it was pleasant enough.
I can see it where it's kind of not for everybody, but it's some of them are like, okay, you can kind of bop your head. I was even getting like comments, and behind me, some of the guys were standing back there. I was like, I didn't expect this to be that good. And he's like, the song was kind of a bop. So yeah, but no, she was actually kind of cool. I liked, there's a couple of songs of hers that I like, but I don't listen to her like exclusively or anything. But yeah, I mean, she seems like a really nice person, so I'm glad that she was able to get on the tour, so that's pretty cool. But so can we kind of bop forward on regards to other tours that are happening that have been announced?
Oh, sure. Okay. Like, are you speaking of North America?
Speaking of North America, and just like a whole bunch of other stuff, I guess, going on. But, well...
So this is part of the Fox Day announcement, is that, or I think it was then, that there's a North America 2025 tour from June 13th to July 23rd.
Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, and this makes me so sad, but I'm missing it. I have to miss it. But the reason why I'm so excited is, well, they have 2 like special openers for like half the tour. And then the other person that is doing the full like first opening, they've done a collaboration with, which I guess we kind of bought back a little bit. There's an India heavy metal band called Bloodywood, which they do get played a lot on like the satellite radio and stuff. And they did a song with BABYMETAL. And so they're going to be opening for them on the whole entire tour. But the reason why I'm a little bit more excited, they got Black Veil Brides. Black Veil Brides, somehow, some way, they managed to get Black Veil Brides to open up for them for half the tour.
Want to give us some context? Is that a big get?
So Black Veil Brides has been around for a really long time, and they're relatively popular in the heavy metal, like not like super heavy metal, but they're, how do I explain them? I don't want to say goth, but I might get yelled at.
Name checks out.
But they have been around for quite a while. I'm pretty sure the lead singer did a comic book with Z2 Comics, the people that did the BABYMETAL comic. And I think his name's Andy, if I'm right. And he's originally from Ohio, which is cool. So am I. But
so ultimately we're excited about this because it features somebody from Ohio originally.
Somewhat, but it just seems like such a big deal to me because they, like I said, they've been around for a while and they're opening up for BABYMETAL. It just, I don't know, that's just seemed like crazy to me. But the bigger thing for me is a band called Ginger, and they are one of my top 5 favorite bands. Along with BABYMETAL, and they are amazing. They are originally from the Ukraine. They were given special permission because of things that have been going on, obviously. They were given special permission to be out of the country, to be able to kind of promote and, be out on tours and stuff like that. But the lead singer is absolutely amazing. She switches from her deep guttural screams to like this, not operatic, but she's just a lovely singer. And she's a super cool person too. And like the band is amazing and it's just great. And I love them. And I'm so excited, but I'm also so very sad because I have to miss out on it, but it is what it is. But I do recommend for anybody who is going to see any of these shows to do please give Ginger a listen. Obviously give Black Veil Brides a listen too, but definitely give Ginger a listen because they got stuff. They got good stuff. And if anybody wants some suggestions, ask me. I'll happily give them to you. Anyway, I know I took up a lot of time there.
Yeah, no, that's cool. So Ginger was the band I'd heard of before. I mean, like, I don't think I've really experienced them, but I thought that was the bigger one.
Oh, no. Ginger is like, they kind of started getting big around 17, I think. I think that's about right. It's 2017, 2018. But they got really popular because of a song called Pisces that they did in the studio during COVID. They were just, it's one of those things where they were in a studio, just cameras, just doing it live. And people were like so taken aback by, her name's Tatiana is her name, which is so cool. They were really taken aback by her. People were taken aback by her vocals, and they kind of got promoted because of that video, and then they kind of gained a really large popularity and have been getting relatively more known. But that does make me happy, though, that they are actually like winding their way into other people's ear holes. It makes me happy. They do hard work.
Cool. Yeah, I think so. I am planning. Well, I have tickets, at least, to the Boston and Montreal ones. So
nice.
those are sort of end of June. Those, like, basically the first half is going to be Black Veil Brides and the second half is going to be Ginger. Correct. So I am not presently attending any Ginger shows, but I might go to the Minneapolis one. The first Ginger show is July 6th in St. Louis.
I know I have a friend who's going to that show. And I told him, like, you're gonna love it. Anyway,
so yeah, I'm sort of interested in that, but I'm definitely also intrigued by the fact that Bloodywood's going to be there the whole time. Mm-hmm. So actually, maybe we could back up a second to that. So or beginning of December, there was I think what had happened was that, like, someone was at a Bloodywood show, and they played a song and people thought that, it sounded like BABYMETAL was participating.
Yeah.
So before this was even announced, it was kind of leaked because Bloodywood played the song
at their own show.
At their own show, yeah, without BABYMETAL, with BABYMETAL on playback. But and so we kind of knew. We knew ahead of time that this was going to come out, but then yeah, they said they released the song Bake Off, which led me to kind of investigate Bloodywood, because I really wasn't sure what to make of that. But they're actually, I'm pretty pleased with them. I mean, there was there's like a documentary that I forgot, something like Expect a Riot or some sort of thing, where they sort of talk about what they're doing. But I mean, essentially they're kind of, I kind of like their mission in a way. Like they're Indian metal, but they're sort of like, socially aware, and it seems like a pretty good group, and they're amusing as well. I mean, they also have a little undercurrent of comedy, which seems to be the thing that I like in bands. But yeah, so they released the this Bake Off song, which is, it's well, the video for it is all animated, which is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And it's taking place it's in like 3 different languages. Everybody sings in their own language, and there's also English in there. And so
I think it's pretty cool.
It is good. I have definitely listened to it a lot since then. But the fact that Bloodywood is going to be there on this entire tour, North American tour, suggests that it'll get played live at least sometimes. Mm-hmm. I don't know if regularly, but it could be.
Right.
So that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Though I don't know. Well, so is that? I should know this. Is Bake Off on the album?
No, because Bake Off is actually Bloodywood's song.
It's a Bloodywood song.
So right. It is, I believe, on their new album.
It is. Yes, it is. Okay, that's true.
I think it's New Delhi. I think is what they're...
New Delhi, yeah. So, logistically, I don't quite know how this gets played. It would presumably be played as part of the Bloodywood opener, but it feels wrong somehow for the headliner to, join the opener on stage.
Yeah.
So I don't really know how this works. Because everybody's like waiting. Let's get BABYMETAL here, and then suddenly they show up early.
I mean, Red Hot Chili Peppers came out and played Gimme Chocolate back in the day.
Oh, well, that's true.
Okay.
That was a headliner coming on stage for an opener.
Yeah, but I think that was
Okay.
a one-time ordeal, and that was for like the last few shows because it was Sue's birthday or something.
I think Korn did the same thing.
Korn did it once, yeah, at the amphitheater.
Yeah, so that's
Well, okay.
not unheard of.
So it
Fair.
could happen.
True.
Heck, Baby Metal opened Fox Fest as the mysterious group.
That's true.
Right. Yeah.
With the soon-to-be outfits.
So it seems like there's a pretty good chance of getting a one or many live renditions of Bake Off on the U.S. tour. Or, North American tour.
Pick says there's a huge Indian community in Vancouver, and that should be a pretty banging show.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. No, I'm actually specifically looking forward to the Bloodywood show. I mean, like, I listen to them enough now, and like, at least the ones that I've listened to enough that I'm curious to see it happen live.
Absolutely.
Since then, they released, they released a whole album, but I mean, they fairly soon after Bake Off released a song called, what is it called? Tadka, something like that, which is, like just basically about like cooking Indian food.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And they I think they also just released another one that I heard on the radio. It was called Hala Bowl or something like that. HALLA space BOL. And it was pretty, it was a good song too.
And actually, so backing up even a little bit further, we are fairly close to the Europe UK arena tour that's going to happen. Those are happening next month, May 10th to 30th, and so those are like big venues. And what's interesting about that is that at least some of them are the openers are. I don't know if it's one or both. It's Poppy and Bambi Thug.
I believe it's both of them. I believe Bambi Thug is...
Both of them for all of them?
I believe so. I believe Bambi Thug is going to be like the general opener, and then Poppy will be like the special guest, and then Baby Metal.
Yeah. So that also carries implications.
Did you guys buy your $2,000 VIP tickets?
No, but yeah, we should maybe mention something about that too. Yeah, so I mean, like the way all these generally work is that there are you can buy the ticket from the venue, but then they also have a company that handles the VIPs, and we've talked about the VIPs before. That like you can get usually there's two tiers. There's VIP 1, which is like first entry, and VIP 2, which is priority entry. And the way it works is that VIP 1 goes in first, gets like an extra little gift, and then VIP 2 goes in next, and then after that whatever the venue has and so forth. But at least on some of the European ones, maybe it's one, maybe it's several, I don't know, but the VIP company added an extra VIP level. Kevin, do you want to describe it?
God, let me go pull it up. From memory, it's VIP 0 is what they're calling it.
The VIP 0 experience.
The VIP 0 experience. It's I want to say to US dollars, it's about $1,400 US dollars.
Yep.
It does not include a ticket to the show, so you need to have purchased a ticket to the show.
Not only that, but it has to.
Not only that, but
a VIP 1 ticket for the show.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is about $300. So all said and done, you're about $2,000 out the door for this thing. It usurps the VIP 1 priority entry, so it specifically says you will be first into the venue. You get like a green room with snacks and sodas, and a VIP host. The real draw then I think might actually tempt some people is you get a personalized, signed, region-specific Baby Metal flag as part of it.
Yes.
Which is pretty rad.
That is pretty cool.
Don't think they've done anything like that.
No.
Ever. And really the only signed stuff that's in the wild is stuff from like 2010 when they were leaning more into the Idol stuff.
And I think there was a thing on the 2015 tour, which was very small, but I think they did not live signatures, but like they had stuff that has their signatures on them, I think. I'd have to go do some research on that.
That sounds plausible.
Yeah.
That's my brain neurons are saying that sounds right.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is what you were talking about. There was like a poster at a festival, or maybe it was an album cover or something at a festival that they were giving out.
That's right. That is.
But
I remember that.
You know, where they were actually signed, but not in the presence of the people. But yeah. I mean, I think there's also like a special video message or whatever. And so I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. But I don't. In a sense, I'm not that sympathetic to the outrage that like people bought VIP1 and now there's someone's going to scoop them, because the thing about VIP1 is first entry. Like you're the first into the venue, but you're only first into the venue if you were actually first in line.
Yeah.
You know, you if you have VIP1 and you are sixth in line, you are sixth into the venue. So I mean, like VIP0 is really just saying you get to be first in line among the VIP1s.
I mean, that makes sense. Now, when you say it like that, it does make way more sense. But yeah. And I mean, I can kind of also seeing the other side of it is like, well, it could technically be some false advertising, because technically the VIP one says that you're supposed to be quote unquote first in there, but that's what I'm saying.
I mean, only one person can be first.
Yeah, but so, like I said, I get that.
If they sell 50 VIP ones,
right? No, that I get that. Like I said, it totally makes sense, but I can also kind of see some of the outrage too. But for me, it's just like, well, I'm not going. So I ain't doing that.
I think it's people just want to be outraged.
Oh, that unfortunately that happens. Yes.
I don't know. We can go around in circles on this. We did this in a chat forum a little bit earlier in the week when this thing was announced, but
oh, did we? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, we live in a pay-to-play world, and that's just part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So maybe there'll be a couple people who do this. I suspect it's probably not going to be a whole lot, but I mean, there are people who fly to every show. I mean, or more or less every show, and they can afford it.
Tank the Tech did a really good video breaking out. Some other notable YouTubers did some, insider people, talking about it and breaking it down from like a business perspective, which are really good. So I'll point people there for better information.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. If somehow people have not come across the Tank the Tech YouTube channel, there's lots of really good stuff there. Mm-hmm. Basically, partly because I mean, like, he's very interesting on his own, but also he is the like tour manager, I guess, or he's I think it's tour manager for Electric Callboy.
Yeah, he is. Mm-hmm.
So he's got a lot of like relevant inside information. Oh, and they, like, by the way, are great. I'm very glad that BABYMETAL introduced me to them.
Oh, yes. They're also now in my top 5 favorite bands. They are amazing. I love them.
As I say, it's basically bands that have an undercurrent of comedy that I am drawn to.
Yeah, they are an earworm for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Although I do have to point out, the cool thing about Tank the Tech is that, and I noticed it in his video about the VIP, he has a Electric Callboy computer chair, and I'm kind of jealous. Yeah. It's really cool. It's white, and it says Electric Callboy on the back of the headpiece. It's like, how in the heck?
I think you can get them made for like $400.
Probably, I'm sure.
Custom gaming chairs.
I'm sure I could probably have a baby one made, but I don't want to spend that kind of money on that.
Those chairs are never comfortable.
No. I mean, the one that I have,
and they never last very long.
You got to get a good quality one. And so, and unfortunately,
I'm actually pretty sure that's official merch, though, I think.
Oh, really?
Is it actually?
I think there's a video, like Electric Callboy themselves, they like do a bunch of sort of like random videos now and again. But I think they actually did one that sort of like showcased this as merch.
Oh,
that chair.
I'll have to look into that. I'm curious now. Not that I think it's going to be available, nor do I need one. So,
yeah.
But yeah. So back to the UK arena tour, with Poppy opening. Well, not. Bambi Thug, which also, I guess, from what and correct me if I'm wrong, they were, because I think it might even be a full band too, but they were part of the Eurovision last year, I believe, and they were representing Ireland, if I'm correct.
I would have no idea.
I think that's the case.
Yeah. Yep.
That is
Yield
how
any Europeans in chat.
Yeah.
That is how Bambi Thug, I believe, came to be known. Yeah, they were really popular on it.
Yeah, I'm reading Wikipedia. It says Robinson is the first openly non-binary artist to represent Ireland in the Eurovision Song Contest.
Yeah.
Doing so in 2024 with the song Doomsday Blue.
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
They finished in 6th place.
Lippy has hooked you up, Maggie.
Yeah,
in chat.
I saw that. And
you can buy the electric cowboy chair.
I ain't paying $700 for that. Heck no. Nope, not for a name on it. Nope. Better things to spend $700 on. Like a flight to Japan. Anyway.
What you could do is get a sticker. Oh, that's true. Yeah, we could get a Baby Metal Podcast gaming chair by buying a gaming chair and putting one of our stickers on it.
There you go.
Right. But once again, like I said, Baby Thug is from Ireland. They're going to be the opener. Poppy being Poppy, who has taken a huge 180 in her musical endeavors, from strictly pop to like this pop metal screaming blend, which is, I say go girl. But the cool thing is that since we are now recording when we are, Baby Metal and Poppy have now released a song together, which is, I believe, an earworm, From Me to You, I think is what it's called. And so most likely the Europe, UK arena tour will probably hear that on the tour at some point. Wouldn't be surprised if that.
Right.
I think that's a safe bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. They released the song in time for it to kind of like grow before grow and sell tickets before the arena tour begins. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, no, that'll be good. Mm-hmm. I don't know much more about the arena tour really, but it is coming up soon. I think that is one of the other things that they've been playing a lot. I mean, they're always playing shows. So that in a way that's harmed us here in podcast land, because it's like the news is always the same news. It's like, wow, they played a show, and like, it used to be like we would follow the tour and we would say, oh, remember the funny face they made during the Kitsune in Atlanta or whatever. And it's like, no longer does anybody have that kind of detail at their disposal, because there's just too many shows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's there. And once again, I mean, last year they said, oh, this is the biggest North American tour ever. Now this year apparently is now the biggest North America tour that they have, which is wild. But, I mean, I'm grateful for that. But it's like, I know how much like dancing and the singing and all that stuff can wear a person down. So I'm hoping that they don't wear themselves out.
Yeah, they're young. They're athletes. They'll be fine.
I know.
They've been doing this for 15 years.
I'm being maybe slightly overprotective, and I shouldn't be, but like, it's still, I don't know.
Now, if I tried to go do that, I would hurt myself.
Yeah.
But I trust that they know what they're doing.
It would take me some training. I could do it. But it would take probably a good year of training before I could do it well. But speaking of tours, there was that whole Legend Map thing that was released on Fox Day, because we're also recording after Fox Day too. So that was part of it.
The Legend Map is like a calendar of like events that are coming up in 2025 and a little bit of 2026. Mm-hmm.
So they have also made note that there will be an Asian tour. I believe it specifically said Asian tour. And then there's going to be a special show. They said special show in the U.S. in November, which has not been announced yet, which will roll back, because they said that on the EU UK tour that the O2 Arena London show is going to be a special show. So I'm curious to see if that'll be like recorded or something. And then
there is some speculation that it will be recorded, just because I think there was some reports of like seats being moved around for cameras.
Yeah.
So I think
post concert merchandise like DVDs and Blu-rays help massively to offset the cost of putting that on, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure. And now, well, that's crazy news too, but I'll come back to that in a bit. Then on top of that, then they announced that there's also a special show in January in Japan. So they have a whole thing with their, which we also haven't mentioned, 15-year anniversary. So that's part of why I'm like expecting some really big, crazy things to happen at these special shows. So like, I'm excited in that regard just because it's, 15 years. They kind of got screwed over because of COVID for their 10-year. Albeit, though, 10 performances at the Budokan is nothing to sneeze at. But still, like, 15 years, big anniversary stuff. I expect cool things to happen. So
do you think they're counting? I don't know where I honestly do not know where they count the years from. Is November going to be what they consider to be the 15?
I thought it'd be October.
Good question.
You know what I mean? Yeah, but October is just like, a miscellaneous part of the Asia tour. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But
only the Fox God knows.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's something.
But yeah, I mean, so I assume the special arena show in the U.S. is going to be something, kind of forum-esque.
I got $10 on it being at the forum again.
Yeah, unfortunately, I do too. So
I don't want to go to the forum again.
I don't want to go to the forum again.
Nobody wants to.
Yeah,
LA sucks.
I mean, it won't be so hot, I guess, in November. But actually, yeah, I mean,
it wasn't supposed to be hot last time.
It was warm. It was warm.
Yeah,
there was fires.
I guess. Yeah. I really don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with that because November, when it's not summer, it's actually a little bit harder to find the way to do this. So if they're trying to do a show where like all the U.S. or North American fans go, if it's on like a Tuesday, then it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely not. I know that I wouldn't be able to make it unless for some way, shape, or form, and I doubt this, but like, because they are already performing on the U.S. tour at the theater at the MSG, the Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
I highly doubt they're going to have a show at the Madison Square Garden, but that would be the only way I could go see the special show is if it's at MSG. There's just no way I would be able to make any other show.
It basically is. The theater at MSG is on the grounds of MSG.
Yeah, it's like on the underside of it or something. I've seen a map of it, but I've never personally been there before. I've seen the outside of the building because it's right by the train station. But that's like literally the only way that I'd be able to do it, but it is what it is.
So Liffy in the chat says that the first BABYMETAL show was November 28th, 2010. So that seems to check out. If it were November 28th, 2025, this show, that would be the day after Thanksgiving.
Oh.
So I don't know that that's so ideal, but it would be a Friday.
I think my family would forgive me. Listen.
Yeah. Oh, Black Friday. Yeah. Actually the fact that it's Black Friday, like suddenly that increased it by 10 times the likelihood, I think.
Yeah, exactly. If that's the case.
Because it is going to be I mean, like November 28th is not always Black Friday, but this year it is.
That would be the luck of the draw. It'd be kind of crazy.
Yeah. That's that seems very Koba-esque. Mm-hmm. I like it. Okay. So I'll plan to fly somewhere on Black Friday.
Yeah. I mean, with everything though, there's a new album coming out. Yeah.
Yep.
Distributed by Capitol Records now.
Oh yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
That is a huge thing. That is a huge thing.
That is a big deal.
The former home of the Beatles. That was how it's always been advertised.
Yeah. Pix in chat asks what the implications are of that. Yeah, I guess if you're not familiar with Capitol Records, like that's one of the most legendary labels of all time. The Beatles, Frank Sinatra, Katy Perry, Sam Smith, Paul McCartney, Beach Boys back in the day, just a name what's swimming around in my head. I think specifically for baby metal, what implications that mean? I mean, access to anybody who's anybody in the music industry, producers, studios, tons of stuff they probably maybe couldn't afford before. The marketing machine globally behind Capitol Records.
Absolutely.
I mean,
potential Grammy nominations. Ayo.
I mean, truthfully, yeah, that is something that could happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think if you're an aspiring musician, I think one of the biggest indications that you have made it is you're signed to somebody like Capitol Records.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, and then global reach, right? Like they can put them in everybody's ears in just about every country in the world, in every medium imaginable.
Yeah, because I believe their Capitol is also associated with Universal Music, I think.
Yep, Universal Music Group.
Yeah, so that, and they have a thing over in Japan too. So that's like they could still do all their stuff as they have been over there, and still have this backing here. So, which also is something. They also established an LLC, which is called BABYMETAL World, in conjunction with this whole signing and stuff. Now, some of you may not be aware of, like me personally, but I work in the legal world, actually, and I'm not going to say more than that. But so I have some just like background information about that sort of thing. Apparently, the BABYMETAL World LLC, they had originally established it for the 2015 tour, and had let it kind of not disintegrate, but just let it go. And then it got reestablished here, like not even a couple months ago. So, and from what I understand, there's a couple of people from Amuse that's assigned to it, and then of course Koba is assigned to it. So they're all kind of the leaders of the LLC. They don't have a trademark yet. So I'm curious to see what else they're going to kind of do with this new business venture that they've got, what it's going to entail and how it's going to work with Capitol, with all that sort of stuff. So just something kind of under the hood there.
I wonder if the 2015 instantiation of this actually had to do with that, failed Warner Brothers cartoon.
Possibly.
It seems like the time frame is about right.
That's a possibility, because I think they were not signed to them, but Warner Brothers was a distributor.
Yeah. I mean, there's lots of things you can do in else. It could just be for tax purposes in the U.S. For all we know, it could be as benign as that.
Which, some interesting also news that I found out is that Delaware is a really, really good place to start up an LLC. In case of any U.S. person.
It's famous for that.
They apparently have some really good legal rules to make it very, very, not easy, but like it's just nice to start an LLC.
It's advantageous.
Yeah,
it
is very advantageous.
In Delaware. So
many credit card companies are registered there.
Many companies.
I also did some digging up some information about 9 Inch Nails and their singers and stuff and setting up businesses. So I know that there too.
It's the place to do it.
Yep. Good old Delaware.
Small wonder.
So, but
that's their state motto.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think it was. Because it's like a really small state.
Ohio is the heart of it all. West Virginia is wild and wonderful. Anyway, in case anybody really wanted to know that.
Yeah, I know. So the Capitol thing is big. My brain from the 80s, sort of thinks of like signing to something like that as selling out, right? Sure. this is gonna damage the musical integrity of the group, but hopefully that will not be the case.
I don't think it will. Yeah.
I guess the question is like, to what extent are they gonna give notes? But
how
that may not be a modern day thing anyway. So
Yeah, I would presume that they're smart enough to not tamper with the formula and just do what they can to make the most money as possible.
Mm-hmm.
right.
They're popular enough.
So anyway, yeah, that is pretty excellent. We do have, so this album that's coming out is called Metal Fourth, which I love. So the lore has always been, that always, at least since the other one came out, that the other one was not their fourth album.
Correct.
So they had BABYMETAL, they had Metal Resistance, they had Metal Galaxy, and then they had this other thing that didn't count. And now they're releasing what they are explicitly calling their fourth album, Metal Fourth. And it is FORTH, as in we will go forth. For me, of course, this actually conjures up the image of a 1970s computer programming language, fourth. But anyway, they're being very sort of explicit with their pun that this is the fourth album. In fact, actually, I think the press release says this is their fourth album.
Yeah, it does.
They're pushing hard on this lore.
They do.
But it's going to have this new, the track they just released, From Me to You with Poppy, is on it. Ratatata is on it. And Metallia is on it. So we already have a fair number of these things. And then there's other stuff. So I mean, I think that there's 1, 2, 3, 4 more songs that are collaborations beyond those.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I know one of them is also once again with Bloodywood. So not only does Bloodywood have a song with BABYMETAL, but BABYMETAL has a song with Bloodywood. And I know that one's called Con, which I have a feeling that probably will also be a US tour thing at some point with.
Oh yeah.
I suppose it could be. Yeah. I mean, all of these will be up for grabs
Potentially.
Yeah. This is also the the sound the fox makes, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah. And then there's an interesting song specifically called Song 3, which for those who have been here for a hot minute are familiar with the song called Song 4, which was originally a Black BABYMETAL song, but it is doing it in full collaboration with a band called Slaughter to Prevail, which was originally a Russian heavy metal band, but they have based themselves out of Orlando, Florida now. So they have a song together, kind of the same with Electric Cowboy and BABYMETAL. It's a very collaborative song. So that'll be interesting to hear. I'm super excited because one of my other top 5 bands, along with the other ones I've mentioned during this podcast, is Spirit Box. And Spirit Box has a song with BABYMETAL called, I believe it's called My Queen. And then, of course, Poppy, Tom Morello, Electric Cowboy. So Ratatata's going to be on there. And I think there's 3 songs that are non-collaborative for a total of 10.
I forgot the biggest one. Nobody cares about the other bands. Polyphia is back.
Polyphia. I'm so sorry. No, that's a you thing. That's totally a you thing. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, I'm pretty psyched about that.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that one.
Sunset Kiss.
I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, that'll be great. Interesting that they're keeping the time theme, Brand New Day and Sunset Kiss.
Oh yeah. Oh, interesting.
I didn't even.
Another thing about that is that it's featuring Polyphia. It's not just the guitarists. It is presumably the entire band this time.
Oh, that's true. Interesting. I'd be curious to see, because I know sometimes, with bands, sometimes they'll say it's featuring da-da-da, but it's actually just the lead singer. But so I'm curious to see how the Spirit Box one will work out, if it's going to be the whole band or if it's just Courtney, aka Poppy. That's a whole thing. Meme. Anyway, the lead singer's name is Courtney. Yeah, so apparently Courtney, I believe her last name is LaPont. I believe is how you say your last name. But anyway, she went to the...
Is this Spirit Box?
Yeah, Spirit Box. She went to the Grammys, and one of the Grammy interviewers mistook her for Poppy because they were both nominated for a Grammy this year. And Courtney just kind of ran with it, being super professional, and she was didn't care, it's fine. So she acted like she was Poppy. And so So now they both have like merchandise that says "I am Poppy," and people reference Courtney as, "Oh, hey, it's that band with Poppy," and it's a whole meme now. But so yeah, but no, Courtney's really, really cool, and she has an awesome voice too. She do the whole screaming thing and singing and going back and forth and stuff. She's awesome. Another band that I totally recommend, or if anybody needs recommendations on, we'll totally give them. So, but yeah, cool. So that's what I'm excited for. So
yeah, going back to song 3. First of all, it is the third track. I think that's pleasing.
Yes.
And it is described in the press release as a brutal counting song.
Yeah.
which is pretty excellent. So, and actually, song 4 wasn't actually called song 4, right?
Yeah.
It was like Forno Da.
Well, true. That's true.
And this one is called song 3. But nevertheless, clearly they are related, or clearly we're supposed to make that association in our mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so right, there's also 1, 2, 3 songs that are just them. I think we were about to talk about them. So number 5 is, I don't know how to pronounce this, so I will call it Kaxi Waxy.
It's
It's kawaii with X's in between.
Yes.
Right? KXAXWXAXIXI.
That is lore now. I'm calling it that from now on.
What is it? How did you say it again?
Caxawaxy?
Kaxi
Yeah. But so, I mean, who knows what this is? But I mean, presumably it is. It's got to be making sort of an allusion to BMC, and people have speculated that like maybe this is going to be the Black Metal song on this album, like that we might actually get a duo song.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who
I was
knows?
gonna say it's so hard to know. Like, I mean, we just kind of have to see, because they've really made no like indication that they're doing any kind of duo stuff. They might during the tour, but obviously the album would already be out at that point. So
we'll find out soon.
We'll find out here in the next couple
They do
months.
say what they say. So what they say about this is that it is a wild rap metal song composed by Dai from Pale Dusk. So this is also the same person who put together The End, featuring BABYMETAL on Lil Uzi Vert's song album, which I realized I hadn't listened to I never ever listened to that.
No,
I have it in my
either.
playlist. I'm one of the few apparently that like that song, so I don't know. I enjoy it. I enjoy the crap out of it.
All right. Well, good. Maybe between us, we enjoy it a normal amount.
Maybe.
But yeah, no, it's always kind of at the end of my list, but that's all right. Yeah. Algorithm. I don't know what to make of that. That's another one. I mean, it reminds me of metalism, I suppose, in its name. It is clearly based on algorithm in some way. Maybe it's like a political devotion to the algorithm. I don't know.
That's kind of out of left field, but okay.
Whatever. Communism, algorithm. But, and then White Flame. So
the end of the speed metal trio or something like that, I think is what it said in the press release.
Oh yeah, the climactic conclusion to the band's melodic speed metal series. So who knows what this is all going to be? But
still curious about that one edition though, because I mean the other. I was talking with some people on the One Discord, which for those who listen or whatever, if you're a member of the One, which is quote unquote not a fan club, they now have included a Discord server. And so now you can be part of that once you get your NFT name card authorized or whatever. But we were talking on there, which the One Discord has like blown up. There's so many people on there now. It's kind of crazy. But they were talking about, because someone was brand new and curious, and so we were kind of talking about the One's editions, and I was trying to remember what the other one edition was. And it was, I remember now that it was this huge black box that was kind of like velvety with the embossment on it, with like a slip case on it, with a see-through slip case. Or no, the name of it was on the slip case. And then there was like those 30 to like 50 photo cards that was included with the DVD that had the music video and then the lyrics video on it. And then of course the album was on there too. And so I was trying to like think about all the different ways the one editions can kind of like vary throughout the year. So it's hard to tell what would be included, especially now that they are signed with Capitol, if there's any kind of like additional things that they have to consider about what to include, especially since it wasn't announced when the album was announced. So it's like, it's weird. I don't know, because they usually announce all that sort of stuff at the same time, but they announced like the regular edition and the vinyl edition, and apparently there's a edition where you can buy it if you're like a top listener of Spotify or something. And then those were the only things that were announced. And then like a few weeks later, or a week later, then they announced that there was this like a deluxe edition that was Japan only, that came with a sticker and a special like CD front case or picture or something. But you can only order it from Japan. Like you can't, I think you can't even order it from A-Smart or something and you can get it shipped through
No, it's on like CD Japan and all those other
CD Japan.
But it is on
CD
Japan though, so you can get it through that. But like they're being very specific about how that was ordered. But yeah, and those are the only, like, they had so many different deluxe editions for the other one. So it's like, it's so weird to not have all these different
I'm sure
variations.
it will come.
So it's like,
it's surprising that it hasn't been announced yet, but so right now the editions are like the regular CD. There's a vinyl. You can buy the spot. It's the Spotify vinyl is a metallic color, and you can find the link to it. I mean, I think Spotify sent out the link, and you can't see it in the store catalog, but you can just follow the link and get it. And then there are Japan editions, like a Japan edition CD, and then this deluxe Japan edition. And I think that's it. The deluxe Japan edition is a CD, but in an oversized case. But it's not a 12-inch case; it's a 7-inch case, which I think is kind of interesting. So it's rather than being a 12-inch single, it's like a 7-inch single, if that means anything to anyone.
I understand.
20 cents cheaper to make per unit.
Yeah.
I understand the other reference though.
Oh, and speaking of 7-inch singles, they did, somewhere along the line they did, as I think, I don't know if we had been talking about it, I'm not sure if it had been announced by the time we recorded last, but they released their first 3 albums on cassette. Along with a BABYMETAL branded cassette player.
It was like $100 or something,
which is pretty awesome. Yeah. I don't know how much it was, but I do have it.
It's kind of wild actually, because like people were talking about like, oh wait, cassette tapes, but like cassette tapes and CDs, like they're kind of sort of coming back just like vinyls are, because I was at what is that store with the comics and the records and things. It's not Newgrounds, because that's a website.
Well, there's Newberry Comics. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, Newberry.
Yeah.
And they actually, like, at their store counter, they have Walkmans and a cassette player for sale. And it's just like, and I know that Lady Gaga, she has an album that's coming out, or no, it came out already. She put all of her stuff out on cassette. I believe Linkin Park also released their new album on cassette. And like cassettes are coming back. It's kind of weird.
Well, and actually, BABYMETAL also did. Besides those 3, I think something else was
Metally,
Legend 43
came with the Legend 43, the 1 edition. Was a cassette of just that song, but it was the Legend 43 version.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a neat throw.
So we have 4 cassettes.
Kitsune brought up an old group. I can never say it right. Necronominal. It's been a while since it's been.
Want to try again?
I don't actually. They're cool. They were cool.
Okay.
But I didn't realize they did cassettes. That's kind of neat.
Necronomidal.
Edol.
Okay. Yes. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, I guess it was just right, marveling at the the cassettes. I mean, I don't know if I'm ever going to actually like play them, but it is funny anyway. The Metallica cassette came with the Legend 43, the one set. Did you guys see Legend 43?
Oh, actually, yes, I did.
Yes.
They happened to release more showings at different locations. So originally I was supposed to travel out an hour to go see this over in like another state. And then like 3 weeks before the showing, they released it in my hometown, literally 5 minutes down the road. So I bought another set of tickets, but the thing is that apparently there was an issue at the other theater, so I got my refund back from that showing, which was lucky. But I took a few friends. We sat in the back row. There was 3 other females, 2 rows below us, and then all the way down dead center, like 4 rows up from the front, there was a single older guy. And it was just us. And I enjoyed myself, and my friends are like, we understand why you like Baby Metal so much. It's kind of energetic. And it was like, yeah. So it was a lot of fun. I got to explain like, oh, hey, this is a thing. And it's like, oh, hey, do you recognize that guy? It's the guitarist from Rage Against the Machine. And my one friend who's like a big metal person was like, wait, that's Tom Morello? I was like, yeah. It's like he worked with Baby Metal. He's like, oh my God. So it was a lot of fun. And of course I was like pretend waving my towel because I didn't have a towel and, doing the hand motions and stuff, trying not to be too much of a pain, but my friends enjoyed it. Seemed like everybody else was enjoying it. It was cool. The only complaint, I do have a complaint about it. I didn't really enjoy the whole jumping around camera motion thing. It didn't really feel like a movie. It felt like one of their concert videos. Although the little like cuts of like the video stuff was neat, but it was still way too jumpy aroundy for me.
Yeah, I think their live videos, like the MVs or whatever that they put on YouTube, are less jumpy than that. It was very, very jumpy. But I also found I was going into it expecting that it was going to be too jumpy, and then when I was actually sitting in front of the big screen, it felt appropriate. I don't know, like when I watch it later on my monitor, if it's going to feel jumpy again, probably.
That does make some sense, though, from a aspect wise. It's going to feel less like that. Makes sense.
I saw it. It sucked. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. Okay. I think I was with I think there were like maybe, I forget, 3 or 4 other people in the theater when I saw it. So it was not a huge hit.
Yeah.
Feels like an average.
But I also think they might have just shown it at way too many places. It was a bit too spread out for it to really, I don't know, be cost effective. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But it was being distributed by a anime convention company, so maybe there was some backing with that. I don't know.
I think basically the places it was playing were the places that anime company distributed to overall. I mean, like I was under the impression at least that it's not like individual theaters picked individual ones of those. They just did the whole series. And so it wasn't like Baby Metal chose to spread themselves so thin necessarily. They just signed up with the anime thing.
I mean, it was through like Regal and Cinemark, and I can't remember what the other company was, but I know that all I know is like the next month they showed Cowboy Bebop the movie for those anime fans. They showed it the next month, which I missed, which makes me sad, but that's okay. I own the copy of the movie at home, so I could just watch it here. But it would have been cool to see it on the big screen, but it is what it is at this point. They were showing all sorts of different stuff in that whole like trio of stuff they were showing, but it was kind of wild that Baby Metal Legend 43 was one of them. So it was kind of cool in that front.
One of the dumb things though about that was that like if you ordered the one edition, it showed up like during the day on the night that like on the day that in that night you would be going to the movie, right? So like you could just watch the Blu-ray.
Yeah, but it's that whole experience thing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. But okay, yes. So we have been recording for a long time. And one thing we haven't actually talked about in any detail is From Me to You, which is the most recent thing that happened. this video, song and video of BABYMETAL's featuring Poppy. So, did we want to talk about that at all?
We should give some impressions. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like
Awesome.
it. That's my impression. No, we can talk about why I don't like it.
Yeah.
And why I think my opinion might change.
Okay.
First of all, I don't think the video is very good.
No, I will agree with you on that. I don't like it either.
The production is, I don't know,
Not comparable.
college CG. Like, it's just not.
That's an interesting
not
way
very
of describing it.
Like the interns at the VFX house did it. So I don't like the environment. The shooting is on a whole nother level of unwatchable. Like the camera motion makes no sense. It never stops, and it's spinning like it's on a 4-axis gimbal, and it's hard just to watch. From an audio standpoint, yeah, I don't know why they keep auto-tuning Sue. It's not needed.
I would say that's a in this case it's an artistic choice.
I think it's an artistic choice too, but I don't like it. I really don't like it.
You're not the only one.
I think it's too much. It could. I don't know. I've heard tasteful auto tune, and it's kind of a miss. I don't know. I don't really like it. Some things I did like, though. I think the choreography, from what you can see when the camera's upside down at a 45-degree Dutch angle and looking at their feet, the choreography actually looks incredible. It's incredibly kinetic, super fun. It was quickly. That was the first thing I noticed. Like, I think this might be some of the favorite choreography I've seen from them in a really long time. It's just cool. It's fun to watch. Like I said, super kinetic.
Poppy's choreography maybe not as kinetic.
Yeah. I don't know what the choice is with that. Like, I don't know. Maybe they just wanted to slap you with the contrast of having BABYMETAL doing their thing and then Poppy not. But she just, it looks like she did it in her closet in the house with an iPhone and just stared at her phone while she went, and was expressionless, standing like a statue. It's weird. It's off-putting. It doesn't match what everybody else is doing. It doesn't even match what she's doing. Yeah. It just makes no sense.
Yeah. Agreed.
That's actually the thing that kind of like it's perfectly fine for her to just stand there and be sort of calm, but at the same time, it does not, like, what you see of her does not give you the impression of somebody who could be making the sound that you're hearing. Yeah. You know, like I think it if she had just stood there and then committed in a way that, that, you know, she was actually singing at that point, even if that's not the audio we're hearing, I think that would have helped. But it's clearly like, and, you know, I suppose intentionally, but you know, it is not, she is not making that sound that we're hearing.
Exactly.
No. You know, and people are saying in chat that it's like her thing, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. Match the moment. And I'm sure this was an artistic choice, which is the frustrating part. Yeah, doesn't make sense. It's off-putting. So that's why I don't like it. Why I think my opinion of it might change is, you know, there have been several songs in the past that a lot of people didn't like until they performed them live.
Exactly.
I think the song will go really, really hard live. I think it'll be really fun. A lot of people are suggesting it could slot into that like distortion slot in the set list, and it would be fit. It would fit right in there. Totally agree.
Absolutely.
And that'll remove all of the things that have annoyed me about the video. There will be no autotune. Poppy being on a screen in the background, just standing there voidless, staring off into the eternity, won't bother me because I won't be watching the screen.
Though, I mean, she might actually be right there
doing
it.
For the UK tour, at least.
Yeah, she might actually be doing it live, and she's doing it live. I guarantee she won't be standing there staring off into oblivion. I've seen videos of her perform. She performs on stage like a performer would. So yeah, hate the video, but looking forward to liking the song more after hearing it live.
On the partial opposite side of that, I personally adore the song. It's just kind of an earworm. It's been on repeat since it came out. Only on audio because The part I agree with Kevin. I absolutely despise the video. I can't watch it. I just can't stand it. It bugs the absolute crap out of me for a lot of the reasons that Kevin mentioned. Which I was going to mention, but I didn't want to interrupt. But people were comparing it to the fact that Leave It All Behind had better CGI than this song did, video-wise. So it's kind of embarrassing, I guess. I don't know. It's weird. It's like they could have tried way harder. And then as far as like I guess, I don't know if they were trying to come across on something, a storyline or something with the video, but it just didn't click because I had no idea what the correlation was. As far as the song, though, is concerned, I don't know all the words to it because I've been trying to I need to find lyrics, official lyrics, but the meeting...
they're not out. I would love to know what they actually are, but all we have are people's erroneous guesses.
But the generalized, from what I can pick up from the song, like the meaning behind the song is really cool. Like it's kind of like this supporting their friend who's just like kind of wild and out there and it's like, oh please, I'm evil, da da da, and it's like, no, you're my best friend. I am here for you. It's kind of that dynamic thing. I think that's kind of sweet. I don't know. But then of course the weird like pop harshness of the song is interesting. But I love the song and I think it is going to be absolutely amazing live. So yeah, I personally I'm 50-50. I'm team 50-50.
Yeah. AJ did a walkthrough of the lyrics fairly quickly after. I mean, and I don't know. I don't know what lyrics he was using. So I think he's probably guessing to a certain extent too. But his take on it was that it actually is pretty much internal. That it isn't someone supporting their friend. It's like two halves of the same personality.
Oh, well, I guess it could be taken as that too, potentially. Yeah.
Eventually, kind of unifying and then drawing on each other to, defeat the enemy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I can see that.
Listen to his discussion of it. I don't, I haven't fully internalized it, but that was his opinion on it.
Because because I'm the weirdo, and of course I use Amazon Music for all my musical stuff, and they usually like slowly kind of give you all sorts of crazy information about things, and found out that Poppy actually wrote the song. She helped write the song, along with I believe MK Metal and then Jordan Fish. So those three were writing the song.
Yeah, sounds right.
Then once I realized that, because it's labeled under her real name, which is Mariah Rose. She has an interesting last name I can't pronounce, but her name is Mariah either way. Which then once I thought about it, I was like, okay, this actually does sound like a Poppy song. Because I've been starting to I've listened to Poppy for some time. More around the time of when she was starting to kind of more transition into heavier things. Her I Disagree era. So I've only really listened to more of her recent stuff. But thinking back to it, it does sound like something that she would probably, if she could do it all by herself, she probably would. And I know there's been a few times because of the autotune that people were confused if it was Poppy or if it was Sue singing, which I have verified that it's actually Sue singing. Where it does kind of sound like
also the video
shows you too, of course. But yeah, it does kind of sound like something that Poppy would sing. So makes sense. But it's still kind of cool though. She has a writing credit for BABYMETAL. So
indeed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I have listened to the song quite a lot since it came out. I'm still sort of in the middle on it. I like it. I listen to it. I am suspicious of it, like I always am suspicious of songs when they're new. But yeah, I mean, like, some of the autotune, the thing is, it is so on top. That's why I sort of think that it wasn't, it's not, it's going for an effect. It's like, whatever, up, down, left, right,
BBAB.
that song.
Yeah.
Yeah. it's using that same kind of an effect, I guess, in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So, so I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm not entirely on board with the poppy part. I think I might have liked it better with a little less of that, but it is what it is. I don't anticipate going to become a big poppy fan, but who knows?
Well, I will say that you probably...
I've resisted up till now.
I was going to say, if that's the case, you probably won't like her new album. You might be okay with the second to last album. Oh, what was it called? It was a very short title. But then the album before that is called Flux. You might actually like that one, because there's not screaming and stuff in it. But it's really good. That album is really good. You might actually like that one. It has more of a a 90s grunge kind of sound to it, is how I kind of compared it.
I think actually part of it was just I found, to the extent that I encountered anything by Poppy, I found the persona super off-putting.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I know that where she's come from to now, it's been, she's a lot more herself these days, but she still tries to incorporate her older persona into some things too. So it's, I don't know. She is an interesting person in her own right.
So I on the video I didn't have the same kind of it's true that it's very hard to see what they're doing because there's so much motion, and there's a couple of pretty weird camera effects. But I mean, overall I did not have the same down view of it. It looked to me better than the distortion video did. That looked like junk to me. This at least is nice and neon.
I'm gonna disagree on that one, but we can have our disagreements.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
I think you're talking about substance versus technicality. I think the substance in the distortion video is executed at a higher level.
Yeah.
And you don't really like the substance as much. You like the theme of the neonness more, but I would have to say the execution in this most recent venture is of a lesser quality than distortion.
I agree.
Okay. Oh yes, I knew there was something I was going to say about distortion, and this is what it was. The Record Store Day, back when Distortion was a new single, and they were releasing it as a single on vinyl in the Record Store Day. The Newbury Comics that is on Newbury Street is where I bought that.
Oh, okay.
So
how fun.
There was yeah.
So that'd be cool if they would release a new thing, but oh well, it is what it is.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So I mean, I guess we're probably we're likely gonna be hearing something soon about other editions and I don't know,
other things happening.
But
other than I know that they're playing at I believe they're playing at Summer Sonic, and it says Japan Festival Tour, so I don't know of where else.
That is Summer Sonic, Osaka and Tokyo.
I would assume that they would probably do some other things for it to be considered as a tour, but I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, it's 2 cities. Close enough.
I don't know. Yeah. I feel like
it's a tour.
I don't know. I'm one of those people where I feel like Japan's kind of getting a little gypped in a lot of this, and that
I'd say so.
They don't get enough love. They're being what I've called ghosted, but ghosted as in reference to the band Ghost, because they're from Sweden and they barely do anything in Sweden from what I understand. They are always touring North America for everything. Because, I know that they have venues over there that can hold, 9,000-10,000 people easily, places over here in the U.S. do. I mean, Bandmate does it, and I know they do. So they really have no excuse. There's no excuse at all why they don't do a Japan-only tour, at, concert venues and stuff. And you know what? Don't even do the foreign, raffles for those. That's fine. I'd be perfectly okay with that. And then, of course, they only do the foreign raffles for, the big arena shows. just give them something more. I feel bad. I don't know if you guys, I mean, obviously, Kevin, you said that you kind of agreed with that, but I don't know. That's just my opinion.
To call back to earlier, we live in a pay-to-play world.
I know, but still, it just...
The reality is focusing on their international presence makes them way more money than their domestic market.
I know. Still sucks.
I mean, they have to go home sometime though, so
exactly.
They could do it on edges. And I mean, whatever, they're playing a couple festival shows. They're doing a special arena show in Japan in January.
Mm-hmm.
Curious to see where it'll be at.
It'll be Makahari again.
Well, apparently, one of the arenas is going to be closed for a year or something at that point. And then someone was looking into Tokyo Dome, and the only thing that's scheduled in January in Tokyo Dome is a 3-day stint with Blackpink. So I
don't think they'll do Tokyo Dome again.
One can dream.
Tickets went on sale a year in advance for that last time to try and get it sold out.
One thing we did not talk about, and I don't know that we really need to spend much time on it, but has anyone been listening to the radio show? I listened to it. I listened to maybe like one of them, and I read the summary of about 3 of them, and then I just totally fell off on that.
I've been listening.
Yeah, about the same for me.
Oh yeah, I have been. Someone on the internet has been, within a short amount of time, within like 3 to 5 hours, have been translating the whole entire show and putting it out on YouTube. So I've been watching it through that. So shout out to that person. But it's been really interesting. They had Atarashi Gakko as their first like 3 or 4 weeks of guests. So they had the first 2 girls on the first week, and then they had the other 2 girls on the other week, and then they had all 4 of them the last week. So I guess it was 3 weeks only. But and then they had who else? They had a former Vocaloid producer on there for a few weeks. A super nice guy. He does a lot of songwriting and producing and stuff. Plays guitar and things. And then they just recently had the gentleman from One Ok Rock or One OK Rock, depending on where you're from. They had him on there for a few weeks. And then now they have Matsumoto, the gentleman from Bees. Matsumoto, thank you. From Bees on there now. But it has been actually kind of eye-opening. They've had a lot of deep discussions about music and touring, and they've even discussed some of their own stuff. Like, and they did recently on this last episode mention about how they were recording some of their songs for the new album, and they were actually like in South America for one of the songs. They were recording in like somewhere that was so super loud that they had to turn the volume in their headphones so way up or something. And it's been insightful, and it's really interesting to see the personality of the girls, especially Moa, because Moa is very, very like music education kind of person, because she's always the one asking all the questions. And then, of course, all the guests that they have on there have been talking about, like, their, like I said before, their interests and, like, how touring has changed them, and the difference between, like, international touring versus Japan, and, like, what it means to be Japanese in the music industry. It's been really, really insightful, I guess would be the best word to use. And I've really enjoyed it. And with Taksan, I'm curious to see what he has to say, because obviously he's been in the industry for like years and years and years. So yeah, it's well worth listening to. Of course, it's all in Japanese, so bear that in mind. But there are translations of the podcast or of the radio show that have been translated. They've been being posted on YouTube. So there is a ability to enjoy it one way or another.
Okay, so now we have something we can talk about next time. Next time we can like catch up on the radio shows. We can listen to them at 2 times speed, and be ready to talk about them next time. But we should probably go, because we've been recording for a long time, and Kevin is hungry.
Oh,
I am.
But yeah, so I guess let's leave it there. It's been, what do we decide, 10 months since we
10,
recorded
yeah.
last. I guess we should probably say we're not sure exactly. We're going to keep recording. We know that we're at least going to talk about the album, and I think there's probably going to be another one before the album comes out that we record, but it's going to be relatively sporadic. When we think there's stuff to talk about, and I think we'll. So anyway, we'll be back.
Yeah.
And it won't be that long. It won't be as many months as it has been between episode 91 and episode 92.
Yes.
But
we're sticking around.
so anyway, yeah. But thanks everybody. I'm super pleased to see like so many people in the chat room.
Seriously,
Yes,
this is
thank
one of the
you so
biggest
much.
crowds we've had.
But yeah, so we'll be back before too long.
Yes.
Okay, so I will now wrap it up and say that's it for this episode. You can join us on the Baby Metal Podcast Discord to continue the conversation. Rating the podcast on whatever platform you listen on will help people find it, so please do that. And until next time, see you.